Okay, everyone, this is Luke on Sean's channel. I am trying out one of the worst Exodia decks you will ever fucking see. What we basically call it is Heart of the Underdog Turbo. What you don't know what Heart of the Underdog does is that it's basically a continuous face-up spell that during the draw phase, when you draw a normal monster, you can reveal it and then draw an additional card. Now, as you can see by this deck list, we only run two other cards that aren't normal monsters. So besides Heart of the Underdog, we got the Head of Exodia. The rest are all normal monsters. So the whole point of this deck is at the first turn you have Heart of the Underdog and the Head of Exodia in your hand. You activate Heart of the Underdog, pray you survive a fucking turn, and then basically you draw your entire deck the next turn and hope that you Exodia your opponent. This is an absolute dogshit deck, but I thought it would be funny if I give it a try. Do I expect to win? Absolutely fucking not. But if I do, it'll be incredibly fucking funny. This might be part of a new series that I'm going to try and test out, is if I can try and win with old decks, shit decks, any other deck. So let's go in and just try it. So after losing the first rock, paper, scissors, I knew I was off to a great start. My opponent decides to go first, and that's when I find out he's playing Dark World. I'm not too worried right now. I have the Head of Exodia in my hand. The rest are all normal monsters, of course, but all I need to do is draw that Heart of the Underdog, survive, and then hopefully I'll go from there. When it switches to me, all I do is set a pendulum and I pass. My idea here is I always want to set the pendulums first, so if my opponent attacks and sees that I'm playing pendulums, he mightn't be onto me that I'm just playing this shitty normal Heart of the Underdog deck. During my end phase, however, my opponent activates a trap I do not recognize, and he sets up for Grapha, so I know I'm in trouble anyways. Grapha I know will put me on a clock, but considering it's Dark World, I'm not too worried that I can get OTK'd. I draw another normal monster, I set and pass. Not too worried. My opponent sets a monster, he attacks, and then he passes. I draw a monster, I set a monster, I pass. He sets up again, and then he flips the biggest bullshit ever that completely fucks over my idea, and he flips up Morphing Jar. So after Morphing Jar flips up and resolves, I instantly hit the surrender button. There is no fucking way I am outing Grapha. There is no way of recovering that two pieces of Exodia in the graveyard. There is no way I can win this match. I just decided to cut my losses. There is no point to fucking stay around for this one. Okay, so we went into game 2, and I actually won the rock, paper, scissors this time, so I decided to go first. And of course, when I go first, I open neither of my combo pieces. Well, I say that, but you know this deck. It's all just normal monsters, so of course you know I'm doing their set and pass, and then it's my opponent's turn, he Extravagance. So when Extravagance happened, I'm always thinking this is obviously a control deck that doesn't really rely on the extra deck. I'm thinking maybe it's Witchcrafters, but this dude just sets back row, and then he normal summons Witch of the Black Forest. Now he used Witch to attack, which actually inflicts damage to him. I start getting excited because I'm thinking, okay, maybe this guy's playing an old school deck like me, and he's just trying some shit out for fun, so maybe I have a chance of winning. He passes over to me, you know what I usually do, there's more normal shit. Then this dude activates Wonder Wand on his Witch, he adds to Witch, and he activates Messenger of Peace. So I'm thinking, okay, fucking stall deck, this is awesome, he's on some Mystic Mind bullshit. I might actually be able to do something here. But during one of my end phases, I knew I was instantly fucked when my opponent flips up Obliterate. I knew I was fucked. I'm playing a shit Exodia deck, like really the worst fucking Exodia deck, and this is a somewhat competent Exodia deck. Exodia decks aren't really that good, however there is a good way of playing it. I am not fucking doing that. This guy definitely is. So I knew I was 100% fucked since I seen that card. There's a lot of back and forth, really nothing too interesting, so I'm going to skip it all over. But basically what happened, this dude had his Exodia guy up to 5,000 attack, so I'm like, no fucking way am I facing that with just low life points. I just hit the surrender button. There is no point facing this thing down. I knew I was going to lose it there, so I just left the match. Okay, game 3 was a weird one. I actually won the rock, paper, scissors again, so I decided to go first. Of course, I opened nothing, and then I find out this dude is playing the Egyptian gods. I can't really describe what happened. I'll speed it up, but just watch. Why the fuck did he surrender? How the fuck did I win that? He must have just known that the Exodia was coming. He felt that the wrath of his gods had no match for my gods, and of course he just left. Honestly, I don't fucking blame him. If I was playing like that, I would have quit right there too. But I wasn't satisfied with that kind of win, so I just knew that I couldn't end the video after 3 matches. I need to go on, I need to win this properly, so yeah, I'll take this as a mini loss, but it doesn't really count. Okay, so after the last game, I really didn't feel satisfied with that win, so I decided to just go again. We'll keep moving forward, and hopefully we'll pull out what the fuck. Okay, so we moved on to game 5 now, and I was actually playing against Dark Magicians, and to cut a long story short, Secret Village of Spellcasters is a fucking card that absolutely destroys this deck, so I had no way to go around it. I think the dude knew that I was too good of an Exodia player, that he didn't want to really face me again when he had a chance. Twice. So, yeah, kind of hurt, but you know, we digress. Okay, so next up for game 6 or 7, I don't really fucking know anymore. My opponent just sets and he passes, so back to me, you know what I usually do, set and pass. And, you know, long story short, I found out he's playing a branded Predaplant deck, so, you know, I kind of fucking lose that one. Next up was the craziest match I've ever played, in general, overall. Honestly, I thought I was going to win this one because I thought my opponent knew what I was up to. They were playing Odd Eyes and I was playing my fucking garbage. And the match was crazy. And I thought they knew what I was doing. I was so sure that they were going to let me win. And I really felt like I was going to. Let me just show you how that turned out. So, as a surprise to no one, I didn't really take that loss very well. Next up was game whatever. I didn't even count anymore. I completely lost track. But next up was Gravekeepers. Honestly, when it comes to Gravekeepers, I didn't really feel too intimidated. But then again, I kind of didn't really understand that my idea of Gravekeepers goes back to as far as like 2010. So I guess I wasn't too familiar with the new errata of Necro Valley. And I also didn't know much about their boss fusion monster. And this motherfucker managed to bring out 2 of them. We were just over an hour in at this point, and honestly I was just getting fucking sick of playing this deck and losing all the time. So much like one of the stages of grief, I decided to start bargaining. I saw I was against a Gravekeeper guy again, and I asked him if he could just let me win, just let me Exodia him, and he was very quick to follow those orders. Next up, I decided to not just try and like bitch out of this and just try to win for real, and then I noticed my opponent was playing Sky Strikers, and if you think I stood a chance with this shitty deck against Sky Strikers, you clearly don't understand Sky Strikers. Here's how that went down. But then again, the number 1 rule I always forget about is you should never underestimate how truly fucking stupid your opponent can be sometimes. Honestly though, we can't blame the guy. I too would have rage quit if I did something as stupid and embarrassing as that. Reaching very late into the night, I finally decided that whatever happens, this is going to be one of the final actual matches. That's when I met Ibes. Now I instantly knew Ibes was an absolute Sigma because he played Despots. so I figured I would ask him to help me out. I presume he didn't notice my plea at first round, but when he came back, the legend himself was game. It was truly a long and winding road, but Ives was very patient with me, even when it looked like he was actually going to lose by deck out, but we beat on. Nothing could get in our way. Except one little misplay. I thought it was betrayal, but no. Just a little accident. We beat on to get back on track, and then finally, everything was in place for victory. I finally won after 2 straight hours of playing. Granted, it was because I asked Ives and he was a polite legend to help me put an end to my suffering, but even still, it was an emotional goodbye to Ives. He had nothing to shout out, so our emotional journey was over and he faded away like a whisper in the wind, a dark rain cloud blending into the night sky. So Ives, if you're out there, I just want to tell you this. You truly were the star of this video. Not me, nor Exodia. You were the hero that we all need, but not necessarily the one we deserve.